Hello, here we are back to Calculus Chapter 4. I got a problem similar to this. I guess it's number 3 on your Chapter 4 quiz that I'd like you to do. We worked on this before the break. Let's talk about it. We're trying to find a cubic function, so I've got these general unknown coefficients, A, B, C, and D. The birds are loud out here. That's okay. And we're trying to find this cubic function, which means we're trying to find A, B, C, and D, that has a relative max at 0, 4, and a relative min at -1, 2. So we talked about it before. The concepts are this. You know, these are points. If you plug this x in, that's the y. So I can use this equation to plug in an x and a y and an x and a y. What's really nice is having that x equals 0, because that makes it pretty nice. If I plug that into this function, I get, I plug in a 4 for y, and I plug in a 0 for x. That's a 0, that's a 0, that's a 0, and I just learned that d is 4. So that's nice. I can plug in that x and y, but that'll be a little less revealing. Let's hold off just a second. The other concept is, because it's a max and because it's a min, we know that on this cubic function like this, we know that the slope will be 0. The slope will be 0, so the derivative will be 0 at these x values. So what is the derivative? The derivative is 3a x squared. You're taking the derivative, treating the a, b, and c and d like constants. 2bx and c. D goes away. So the derivative at x equals 0, the slope will be 0 because he's a max. Let's just do that. The slope will be 0 when I plug in a 0. Well, then I just learned that c is 0. That's nice. It's nice to have that 0. Also, if I plug in -1 into the derivative, it is 0 because it's a min. The slope is 0. Let's try that. I get a 0 if I plug -1 in this derivative. -1 would give me a 3a and -2b. And c is 0. So, all right, so I've got that equation. And remember, the other thing I wanted to do was plug in this x and this y into the original function. That'll give me an equation. Let's try that. Plugging in the y is 2. Plugging in the x is -1. -1 cubed, that'll be a -a. That'll be a -1 squared. That'll be a +b. And c is 0. So c is 0. Now that d is 4. D is 4. So here I am. I'm solving these two equations, two variables, a and b. We already know c and d. So it's a little matter of substitution or maybe elimination, whatever you want to do here. Let's see. I'm going to quickly move the 2b over here. 2b equals 3a. When you move it to this side of the equation, let's divide by 2. b is 3/2 a. Let's substitute that in for b down here in this equation. 2 equals -a plus b, which is 3/2 a, plus 4. If I add those a's together, I think that's 1/2 a. If I move this 4 over, I'm subtracting 4. That's a -2. And multiply by 2. I just learned that a is a -4. If a is a -4, I can plug it in here. And b is -4 and a -6. I think I did that right. And I have a, b, c, and d. And so they wanted me to find the function. Technically, this is my answer. -4x cubed, because that's a. b is -6x squared. c is 0 and d is 4. This is the function that meets these requirements. So good luck. You have a question like that. We've practiced these before. It's nice when you have a 0. On your quiz that I want you to do, these A's and B's, they don't come out quite as nice. You got some tougher numbers there, but it's the procedure's the same. The numbers aren't as nice. All right, thank you. Keep working hard.